Welcome to Kingdoms Forlorn, Dragons, Devils, and Kings, a dungeon crawler and boss battler for 1 to 5 players. In KF, you play as knights who venture into the titular cursed lands in search of glory, revenge, or redemption. Kingdoms Forlorn is played over multiple game sessions. During a single session called an expedition, one knight will become the party leader, usually by taking on a quest that progresses their story, while other knights will go on investigations or simply free roam to grow in power and gain new abilities. Together they will delve into one of the kingdoms to fulfill their respective objectives. An expedition always ends in a climactic clash, after which, victorious or not, the heroes will return to their outpost to plan their next move. KF is a monster of a game, with hundreds of hours of gameplay. If you're about to play the game for the first time, we recommend reading the rulebook, then watching this Learn to Play series. In this Learn to Play series, we'll walk you through the various stages of the game step by step, with the first video, the one you're currently watching, covering the introduction, player setup, and the first 2 phases of the game, the Vision Phase and Outpost Phase. These videos are based on the latest Learn to Play mini-campaign included in the core game, and will be kept up to date with any FAQ clarifications and errata. You're playing as 2 knights, the Fleischritter and Kara, and 2 squires, Bianca and Ralof. Squires are simplified versions of knights, used when you don't want to play with a full roster of 4 or 5 players. In short, they're much easier to handle than a full-fledged knight. Okay, let's fetch the game components for all 4. The Fleischritter, Kara, Bianca, and Ralof. Before we proceed, please pause the video and collect these. They're needed to begin the game. Okay, got everything? Let's go over each component in detail. Each knight uses a knight board made of 2 parts. To set up a knight, place their portrait, talent, heroic arc, and peril arc cards in the indicated slots on the knight board. Next, take the technique cards specified in the Learn to Play's setup instructions and place them near their respective knights. For future expeditions, you will find setup instructions for each knight in their respective knight book. We'll discuss the knight books in a short while, but don't worry, you don't need them for this Learn to Play. To set up the squires, simply place the squire cards on pieces of the knight board with the statistic tracks. Next, for both knights and squires, mark their starting statistics using acrylic cubes. Passion and heat should be at 0, while vigor should be at maximum, as you can see on the peril arc for knights and on the squire card. Transparent cubes represent the current value of a given stat, while the black cubes are used to define a stat's limit. You place a black cube on the number just above your limit to prevent you from increasing your value beyond it. Note that for knights, as you lose vigor, your heat limit will increase according to their peril arc. Knights have 3 core stats: passion, heat, and vigor. Passion symbolizes the heroic fervor that empowers your knight's attacks. Heat represents how much your knight has exerted themselves, and vigor is your knight's health. You'll learn more about how these statistics work as we go along. Next, let's take a look at your knight's portrait cards. They show your knight's name, class, speed, power die, refresh rates, hand limit, and bane limit. On the back of the card, you'll also find an overview of a knight turn. This can serve as a handy reference once you start playing. Each knight has their own unique abilities. The Fleischritter uses Fleisch tokens to empower his brutal abilities, while Kara specializes in tactical movement. Often before an expedition begins, knights and squires are assigned clue cards. Clue cards determine what type of clues a character is looking for: errant, historic, martial, or mystic. When you draw a clue card, it shows you one clue type. This will be your primary clue for the expedition. For this tutorial, divide the clue cards in the following way: Kara, martial, Ralof, mystic, Bianca, errant, and Fleischritter, historic. Then, place the clue cards on the corresponding boards. You will also need to gather secondary clues. To determine your secondary clue type, you need only to look at the clue card of the character, knight, or squire to your right. Their primary clue is your secondary one. Do it now. Yes, this means you start with one secondary clue already obtained. As mentioned before, squires are simplified versions of knights. They use metal cards instead of dice and follow simpler gameplay rules. Okay, now that your knights and squires are set up, let's briefly go over the game structure. Kingdoms Forlorn is played by embarking on expeditions, each representing one journey into the kingdoms. Each expedition consists of several phases. During the course of this video guide series, we will cover the Vision Phase, the Outpost Phase, the Delve Phase, the Clash Phase, and, last but certainly not least, the Spoils Phase. Every expedition begins with the Vision Phase. This is where you decide your party's various goals and where they're going. In this tutorial, we're going to follow a scripted story, but in a regular game, each knight would pursue their own goals while on the expedition. Each expedition has a party leader. By default, this is the knight who's currently on a quest. If no one is on a quest, then the players may choose who is the party leader. In this Learn to Play adventure, the Fleischritter has been chosen as our party leader. In the full game, each knight will consult their own knight book, which contains their narrative campaign, or tale, as well as any other rules and story passages needed to play them. Each kingdom has its own kingdom codex with all the rules and story necessary to venture into that accursed realm. Quests, investigations, and special events are all contained within these books. For this Learn to Play, everyone follows the same story. Read the narrative passage found in Step 3, A Small Tale of Heroism in the Learn to Play book. This will give you some information that will be used while setting up this expedition, net you some gold, and begin your tutorial quest in earnest. The Learn to Play scenario calls for our intrepid adventurers to go into the Principality of Stone. Let's fetch all the game components needed for this part of the setup. Before we proceed, please pause the video and collect these. They're needed to begin the game. Once you have all the listed components, let's continue. Take the kingdom sheet for the Principality of Stone and place it to one side of your playing area. Then take the 4 Principality of Stone kingdom tile decks, small, medium, large, and extra large, and place them face down within reach. Now we must prepare the possible encounter monsters for this expedition. Typically, these are randomly assigned by drawing encounter cards from a mixed pool of monsters based on your knight's power level and the kingdom into which they are venturing, but luckily, in this scenario, they're fixed. Place the specified encounter monster tokens on the kingdom's district wheel, found on the kingdom sheet in the following order. Place a Ratwolves token on the noble district portion of the district wheel. Place a Pumpkinhead Monstrosities token on the Craftsman's District portion of the District Wheel. Place an Egg Knight token on the Port District portion of the District Wheel. Place an Iron Cast Dead token on the Merchant District portion of the District wheel. Next, we'll prepare the Kingdom Track. The Kingdom Track measures 3 statistics. Threat, which represents the growing risk of failure of your expedition. Curse, which represents the growing effect the accursed nature of the kingdom has on you. And time, which represents the, time you've spent in the kingdom. If your threat or curse value exceeds its maximum, you lose that expedition. That is, unless your current quest states otherwise. For this expedition, set all 3 values to 0, marking them with clear acrylic cubes. Now that you have the various components of the kingdom prepared, let's place down your starting kingdom tile. Usually, information about your starting kingdom tile would be found in the party leader's nightbook, or randomly determined, but as you have learned from the A Small Tale of Heroism passage, for this tutorial expedition, your starting tile is S13. It's an S tile, which means small. Take the small kingdom tiles deck, find S13, and place it face up in your play area, using the path symbols on this tile. Place any connected kingdom tiles next to it, face down. This shows you the rough layout of your surrounding area. Finally, place the party marker, the giant First Knight miniature, on the starting tile. This marker represents the party's position within the kingdom. In Kingdoms Forlorn, you always move together. There's no splitting the party. Let's move to the Exploration deck. This deck represents a number of randomized events that can occur while you're exploring the kingdom. Normally, to create this deck, you would shuffle together the general exploration cards and any kingdom-specific exploration cards, but for this expedition, we'll fix it. Take the 4 exploration cards you've prepared and stack them from top to bottom in the following order: Rat Wolves, Panzer Pit, Marching to the Silent Drum, and Panzergate. Finally, to finish up preparing the kingdom, place all the other components you've gathered within easy reach of all players. This includes the 3 Mortis decks, the Judicium deck, the Condition deck, the Scavenge deck, the Clash board, the Principality of Stone Codex, and the various tokens. Remember to shuffle each of these decks thoroughly. This is how your play area should look at the end of the setup. Whew, now we can move to the Outpost phase. Before you embark on your expedition, it would be prudent to prepare. You do that during the Outpost phase. You'll find the current kingdom's outpost in its codex. For the Principality of Stone, your current kingdom, the outpost can be located on page 6. Don't worry, we'll walk you through it step by step. As you have learned from the Small Tale of Heroism passage, your party starts with 5 gold. Normally, this gold would be divided between the knights, but for this tutorial, let's keep things simple. Give all of the gold to 1 knight, the party leader, the Fleischritter. Write this value in the gold box on their knight sheet. With 5 gold, we can afford the services of some local scouts who can give us some additional information about the kingdom. Let's hire the local urchins at a cost of 3 gold. Pay 3 gold and resolve the local urchins effect now. You'll find it in the scouting section of your current kingdom's codex. The local urchin scouting action allows you to reveal one of the kingdom tiles adjacent to your starting tile. Let's choose L3, flipping it face up, and place a generic token on it as a reminder that it remains unexplored. Note that the order in which you visit the outpost's facilities matters. By visiting the scouts first, we have gained access to their early bird bonus, something that will come in handy later. Next, we'll pay a visit to the Mercenary Guild, where we can afford to hire a level 1 warrior mercenary using our remaining 2 gold. This mercenary will have some useful abilities we can take advantage of during the upcoming expedition. And with that, your outpost preparations are complete. You're ready to venture into the Principality of Stone and do some exploring, which will be covered in the rest of this Learn to Play series. In Episode 2, we'll begin the Delve phase of the expedition. If you want to get a little taster, read paragraph 0001 now. Don't worry, we'll remind you about it at the start of the next episode, too.